welcome to Solo GPS, where we learn to take our life back in our hands after narcissistic abuse. Today I wanted to talk to you about self-esteem. And the reason why I wanted to discuss this topic is because I received a question from one of my viewers, which I'm going to read to you, asking about how to overcome it. Here's what she said. Hello there. I'm really enjoying your videos and I have a question. How do you rebuild yourself and your self-esteem when you have never really had any? I am in my 40s and it's only now that I'm seeing the patterns in my life and how toxic they are. I have been realizing how terribly some of the people in my life have always treated me, and I'm starting to leave those people behind. But it's been difficult to figure it out because these people have a way of denying their behavior, and that makes me doubt my perceptions. It was only after some extreme bad treatment that I finally saw things, and now I can't believe what I've put up with for my entire life. And it's been in every sort of relationship: family, friends, co-workers, boyfriends, and even strangers in the mall. I have allowed everyone to treat me like garbage, like a complete doormat, while I chased after them, never able to say no and still trying to please. I'm struggling with feelings of anger and self-hate because of the things I've accepted and associated with people who I always knew were really nasty, such as my ex-narc. I am struggling with the fact that even though I finally pushed some of these people away, they don't care at all about losing me. They never cared about me at all. It's left me feeling tricked, stupid, and very burnt out. I am grateful that despite all of this, I still want connections with people, but I want positive ones. Thank you, best wishes, Anonymous. And what a beautiful way to end your question. You do want positive relationships for yourself and the healthy ones, and you will have that. And you will have that. And it's so wonderful that you're looking at all of that, all of your past, all of the patterns that have happened in your life, and you're seeing it. You're seeing that it reaches all the way back into your childhood. So I want to first of all really congratulate you that you're doing this work and you're realizing where you really need to do, where you need to go and what you need to address. And you've asked this question, I believe, for so many of us, because self-esteem is such a, in a way, elusive topic. We are not being taught about this when we're in school, right? Like, why not? Wouldn't that be a great world, if our children were exposed to these kinds of questions and topics and be taught tools how to have self-esteem? But unfortunately, we're living in a world where, in fact, it is at home where our self-esteem is, before it even sprouts, is being destroyed. So you sound like you're one of those people who have experienced this for most of our life. And I've been in the same boat. So before you are even able to understand what self-worth really is, to understand who you are, those budding sprouts of your sense of self have been trampled upon. So no wonder you've been struggling with this all your life. No wonder. You're saying here that, you've been tricked and these people have been messing with your perceptions. Yes, this is what narcissist, problematic people do. They're very good at minimizing our problems, and whenever we have a reaction to, a healthy reaction to an abnormal situation, they tend to, denigrate it. They tend to rationalize it, say that they didn't mean it, or gaslight us, just all out, completely denying that this has ever taken place. Right? Boy, like, how familiar are we with that? That happens a lot. So I want to say in the beginning to don't be too hard on yourself, because you're seeing these patterns and you're wanting to change them. So this is a sign of health and power rising within you. So this is all very good and very positive. Also, you're saying that you're saying that also it took an extreme form of treatment for you to really awaken. And again, this is something that really happens to many of us, that for most of our life we're living in this kind of lukewarm state of mind, lukewarm reality, where we're allowing people to trample on our boundaries, to treat us with disrespect. But it never quite gets to the point where it hits us really hard. that we really awaken and realize, you know, that this thing has been going on all of our lives, and we have to say no to it, because otherwise it is going to keep destroying our life. So before I dive into giving you some of the suggestions of things you can do in order to really overcome this, what is, I believe, people-pleasing tendency that you have learned, I want to state to all of us, to all of the viewers, what I believe are the 3 really significant advantages to having a healthy self-esteem. And I call them my 3 S's. And S number 1 is stability. What this means is that having a healthy sense of self-esteem is going to give you a sense of rootedness. You will not be as easily swayed to doing the bidding of other people. Opinions are not going to have very big impact on you, which will allow you to finally build things, to finally create things. Because with not strong self-esteem, what tends to happen is we try to do something and build something, and then someone says something or does something that destroys that internal sense of stability, and what happens is it manifests on the outside right away, and it's almost like as if a hurricane just went through, or a strong wind blew through our creation, and the whole thing just, you know, blows apart, and then you have to start over. So many of us who struggle with self-esteem have had this history of building something and then watching it being destroyed, and building something and watching it be destroyed. So once we have a healthy self-esteem, we will be finally able to set really strong foundations and build on top of that. And then earthquakes can come, typhoons can come, and it will just not have the destructive impact on us anymore. The next S is simplicity. And what this deals with for me is that there is no more need for being perfect. It completely takes care of us having to attain some elusive form of perfectionism, which is an artificial construct, and it's created on purpose by mass mind manipulators in order to create a sense of need where there really isn't any, which is to basically sell us stuff we really don't need, right? Because if we're trying to be perfect, and then we're inundating with all these images of perfection, of what it means to, you know, to be successful or beautiful or this or that, then, and we can never attain them because each one of us is different, right? And each one of us holds a different standard of perfection that's been pushed on us. Then if we don't have that, then we're so free, and we can flow through life with so much ease and grace without having to prove ourselves to anyone. It's a truly freeing state of mind, state of being. And the third S is serenity. So you're going to have a deep sense of calm and peace within yourself, and again, not be swayed by anyone's opinions of you anymore. And this is really incredibly valuable, because serenity and calm become the true ground for happiness to build in your life, and moving forward as you heal. So let's look at some of the things that you have addressed in your email. And what I have seen here, read in between the lines, and also, you know, in your words, are strong signs of self-judgment. You know, sounds like you have been judging yourself most of your life for not being good enough, for not doing enough. And then the moment you awakened, that sense of self-judgment is still present. So now, instead of judging you for all the things that you haven't done for other people and so on, now you're judging yourself for letting all of this happen. So it's the same mechanism, it's just attacking a different part of you. So we need to really address this self-judgment, this self-critic, which all of us have a self-critic within ourselves. Everyone has them. But if you have been through narcissistic abuse, it is like a 10 times or 100 times stronger, and because we're dealing with CPTSD. So it's a really complex set of memories and mechanisms that are in our head that keep triggering us into feeling really bad about ourselves. So this is what's happening here. And as a result, you are preoccupied with other people's opinion of you, right? Which keeps you stuck. So step number 1 is you need to learn to be kind to yourself, to spy that self-critic, to catch yourself when you're thinking really negative thoughts, and just, you don't even have to overwrite them. You can, with a positive affirmation that you're learning to do better. You're learning to respect yourself and so on. But just by the fact that you catch them and you see them and you name it, or saying, oh, I'm having a CPTSD crash, I'm being triggered, immediately is going to release the grip of those emotions that they have on you. So I actually made a video about this. I'm going to link it down below. So the self-critic really arises from this deep sense of shame and fear that we have, that started really in our childhood. That's where it all originated. So what is really important for you to realize is that these words, like I'm not worthy, I am, I'm a piece of shit, I deserve this form of treatment, this is not yours. It has been programmed into you by repeated traumatic statements that are being thrown on you in order to make you unstable and in order to make you susceptible to manipulation. So whoever it was that was there when you were little and was doing this horrible treatment towards you, was doing it to you so they can use you for their own purposes. And you're also stating here that you're having a lot of anger and self-hate for putting up for this for so long. Realize that this is not you. This is a fake mechanism that has been put and installed into it. It's like an operating system. And when it happens to a child, you don't know how to overwrite this. You're little. All you're trying to do is survive. If a child were to really awaken and realize that their parents or their caregivers or siblings or whoever it was doing this mistreatment was actually there to hurt them, that could destroy that child. It would make them feel unsafe. It will be absolutely devastating. So the child does everything he or she can in order to survive and adapt to a hostile environment. And your form of adaptation sounds like was to become the people pleaser. This is something I did too. So these kinds of people become the counselors, and the consolers of the narcissist. And we do that because we have learned, and very accurately so, that when we are there to please the narc, they're going to not react the way that they would if we didn't. So they're not going to rage. They're not going to hurt us. We're actually we have learned to calm them down. We have learned to manage the situation in the home by being there for them, by serving them. So this was a really good survival mechanism that you utilized in order to survive. Did this subconsciously. It is something that's kind of programmed into our psyche. But as you then moved out of the house and you went on to, interact with people at the bank, people at the grocery store, people at work, you continued that style of being. And so you were receiving that same response from your environment, because when people see that you're going out of your way to do everything and anything for them, they're going to start taking advantage of you. And then they're going to start testing you further by pushing you and saying things to you, and then noticing that you're not really defending yourself because you never learned how to do it. So they're going to be like, treating you very poorly. Because they'll say like, yeah, if I say these nasty things to her and she's not standing up for herself, so I'm going to now try this. And almost they make a sick play out of this, a sick game. I've seen so much of that in corporate environments, how people do that. Also, this happens a lot in school, like in high school, especially, when all these cliques begin to form between people. And like you have these people who just kind of gang up on others and they do all these bullying. And it can devastate a person, their budding. This is where this self-esteem and self-confidence are just beginning to naturally grow, right? And if there was a strong foundation at home, then it starts to sprout, and the person is able to really self-direct in those, kind of challenging circumstances when you're being influenced by other people at school and at work and so on. And it polishes your character, it strengthens your sense of self. But if you didn't have that foundation, then you keep defaulting into being there to serve others, and you see the kind of response you're getting. You're being treated really poorly. So this is not going to serve anyone. This really never served anyone, but you didn't know that as a child because you wanted to survive. So you did the best that you could. So you need to forgive yourself for having done that, because you did great. You survived. It served its purpose. Now it's time to change it. Right? And so if you want to get positive response from your environment, you're going to have to learn to stand up for yourself. You're going to have to learn to say no and have strong boundaries. So let's go to the next one. So step number 1 is to eliminate self-judgment and be kind to yourself. No longer do things for others. Put yourself first. This is going to take some unlearning. And also, this is going to take some unlearning. Step number 2 is setting boundaries. This is super, super important. You are now in the process of going from the old you to the new you. You haven't yet become the new you. You're in that very delicate state of transition. It's kind of walking down a bridge, and the bridge is a little shaky, or it's like becoming a butterfly, right? Butterfly transformation hasn't happened overnight. It takes a while. So what does the caterpillar do? It needs to form a chrysalis, a protective shield, a boundary, so that this transformation can really take root and complete itself. So right now, the best thing for you to do is to withdraw into your space, get to know yourself. Do not worry about other people's opinions, but also do not expose yourself to their influence. Because sometimes, like the smallest thing, one inappropriate word, one gaze, right? Like all of that can set us spiraling back down that CPTSD downward spiral. So protect yourself as much as you can so that you can become the butterfly that you are becoming, and once you unfurl your wings and you're ready to really step fully into the world as a fully confident, rooted person with a healthy self-esteem, before you're there, just be very gentle with yourself, things you expose yourself to, people you expose yourself to, and so on. So hopefully that was helpful. And the step number 3 is learn to invest in yourself and in your future. So this is where we take actions that really communicate to our subconscious that we're worthy. And self-worth and self-esteem are like really, really closely related. So it is through those actions that we're going to go from the prefrontal cortex awareness. It's a conscious awareness that, like already I think you're already there. Like, that you've been doing this all your life, and you need to change it. And you probably already kind of have an idea of the steps you need to take and things you need to do. That's all happening here. What your task is now is to take it from the thinking mind to the subconscious mind. And the more you take actual actions and receive then positive feedback from the environment where people will start treating you well because you're treating yourself well, that is going to reinforce that sense of self-worth and self-esteem. So it's going to take some time, but it's usually hardest in the beginning, but then once you get a hang of it, it's like learning to kite surf. It's like learning anything, any task, any skill. It is rough in the beginning, but then it starts to become easier, and you enter that sense of flow. And I think that, taking action such as, if you ever wanted to take a class, or learn to play guitar, or learn a new language, or wanted to travel someplace, or do something kind for yourself, cook yourself a dinner, book a massage, go out to a spa, sign up for the gym, buy yourself a session with a great trainer, go to a seminar, buy a book, have an evening with yourself when you just drink warm tea and watch comedies all night, right? Like things like that, instead of being asked to go out with these people who are toxic for you and going to end up talking behind your back about you and all that. You say no to that. Say, no, I want to be with myself today. You're communicating to your subconscious mind that you are worthy, that you respect yourself, and that you're really number one, because you're number one for yourself in your life. That's the way we need to all learn to be. So learn to invest yourself, create small goals for yourself and meet them. It's something easy that's super attainable. It's going to give you that burst of dopamine and the feeling good. It will fire new neurons in you, so it will help you reshape, rebuild your brain. All of these things you can start doing right away. Try new things. Try something new. Open yourself up to new opportunities. You know, open yourself up to new possibilities. And think of things that nurture you and really focus on those. So to recap, the 3 things to do in order to build healthy self-esteem is: number 1, be kind to yourself. Really stalk your inner dialogue, as my coach Meredith would say. Stalk your inner dialogue. Watch where you are saying negative things to yourself and just tell yourself, oh, this is just a program. This is not true. And start to override it with positive things, positive thoughts about yourself, especially if you're going to be actually doing nice things about yourself. Like, take a pause, pat yourself on the back, say, yeah, I did it. You know, I did something nice for myself. Woohoo, good for me, you know. So number 1, be kind to yourself. Number 2 is set your boundaries. Do not hang out with people who are toxic for you. Do not let them into your inner space. You know, do not even give them the energy of thinking about them. Focus on you, focus what's important to you and the future you're building for yourself. And number 3 is invest time in you, invest your energy in you, invest your resources in you, because when you do that, it's only going to add up. It's only going to multiply. So hopefully this video helped answer the question. If so, let me know. If you guys have more questions or you have more suggestions for our viewer as to what she can do and what all of us can do to raise our self-esteem, because it's an ongoing practice. I'm still working on it myself, you know. So if you have any suggestions about that, please share. Please let us know. If you know people who are suffering from low self-esteem due to narcissistic abuse, share this video. It might help them. It might help them overcome that. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope to see you in another video. And in the meantime, remember to listen to yourself and let your inner compass guide you. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.